Time.
Thanks, Kieran.
Appreciate it. Let's go live to the Liberal frontbencher, Julian Leeser. Julian Leeser, thanks for your time. The Minister hopeful that some of the heat around the tax changes will die down now that it's passed through the Parliament. What do you make of that argument? And reassuring those in the tech and startups that they're still consulting, that they will smooth out the edges of those changes?
Well, these taxes are completely unnecessary, Kieran, and we will not let up on this Labor government that lied about the fact that they were going to bring in these taxes. As Labor this week were cheering in the Parliament and slapping each other on the back as these terrible toxic taxes passed the Parliament, people in my electorate at small business roundtables that I have hosted were in tears because they've played by the rules. They've worked hard. They've risked everything, and suddenly Labor pulls the rug from under them. So we will not let up, and Australians will not let up because Labor lied and they've brought in taxes that are hurting ordinary Australians.
On the impact on innovation, I asked Chris Minns about it. Will it hurt innovation, investment in business? He said, I hope not. He doesn't sound the greatest fan of those tax changes himself, the Labor Premier.
No, I saw your interview with Chris Minns. There's no ringing endorsement from the State Labor Party for what's going on here, because they know, as we know, that if you tax something, you have less of it. And so if you want Australia to be a more innovative society, you don't slug people who are engaged in innovation. I mean, even if you want Australia to build more houses, you don't put these taxes on, because by the government's own budget papers, these taxes will create 35,000 fewer dwellings. And that's a terrible thing for young Australians trying to get into homes. It's a terrible thing for people who are running their businesses. It's a terrible thing for the growth of our economy. Labor cannot be trusted with taxes. They cannot be trusted to run our economy. And even if they put a bit of sugar about, they're still just putting sugar on the poison.
On some other matters now, the social media changes, as Shadow Education Minister, obviously it's something you watch closely. Do you welcome the fact the government's doubling down on this, doubling the penalties on big tech?
Well, let me say first and foremost, the social media ban was originally an idea that the Coalition put forward, and we called for bipartisan support, and it was good to see that the government adopted it. As the Shadow Education Minister, I want to see young people exercise their brain power in the most fulsome way possible. And we know that social media robs people of their attention spans. Given the challenges Australia faces in the coming years, given the challenges the world faces, we need young people to be at their sharpest, and spending hours and hours on social media does not help that. So I support the principle of the social media ban. Labor has clearly fumbled this, but we're interested to see what their changes are, and we will consider them in due course.
When you say they've fumbled it, what particularly are you worried about with it? Because obviously big tech, they're always going to be trying to get around new measures or regulation. They've got unlimited resources behind them. What's the government done wrong?
Well, I mean, there's clearly people who are subverting the social media ban. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that the big tech haven't taken this seriously enough. And that's why we'll consider these matters when the government presents their full policy proposals to us. But the principle of the social media ban is a good one, and that is about, in my view, ensuring that young people are able to have the full concentration span that they need to deal with the challenges that we face, the economic challenges, the challenges of AI, the challenges of a much more complicated world than the world that you and I, Kieran, went into after we left school.
Very true. Now, speaking of a related issue, which complicates law enforcement and counter-terrorism, obviously this radicalisation of people so quickly online, often alone. That's the warning from Mike Burgess over the last week. And then the Sunday Telegraph reporting today that Al-Qaeda has been using the Bondi atrocity to urge its followers to commit similar lone wolf attacks around the world. This is horrifying.
It absolutely is horrifying, Kieran, and it demonstrates the challenges that our law enforcement and intelligence and security officials have in dealing with these issues. And it's the reason why it's important that we give them all powers and resources that they need to deal with a much more complex security environment than they faced in the past. The idea that Bondi, our worst terrorist attack, where 15 innocent people were murdered in cold blood on our most famous beach, where Jewish Australians were targeted practicing their religion. The idea that that would be a source of recruitment shows that there are sick people in our world and there are sick people in our country. And the thing I took away most from the Director General's speech this week was that Iran continues to play a very negative role in Australia. And I don't think the government has been serious enough about tackling Iran. Although the ambassador is gone, the embassy is still here, and the Persians in my community, I represent the third largest Persian community in the country, tell me that they still fear the activities of the embassy and they fear what is going on in relation to the IRGC in this country, even after we have banned them.
So when you say the government needs to do more on Iran, what would you like to see happen here? Because obviously, as you say, Australia's listed the IRGC as a terror group, made expulsions, imposed sanctions. What more could be done from this far away?
Well, you'll remember it was 2 years that we called for the banning of the IRGC. It was 2 years that we called for the ceasing of diplomatic relations with Iran. I think we have to ask ourselves why the embassy is open here anymore, given that it is a potential source of terrorism against our own people.
So you want them to shut it?
I'd like to see the embassy shut outright, yes.
Okay, and on just before you go, One Nation, its challenge for the coalition continues. What do you want to see the approach here? Do you want to see a more hasty, Andrew Hastie-like approach where he's warning in metaphorical terms? He says they've declared war, well, they shall get war, is what he said to his members of his branch late last week. Do you share a similar sentiment as Andrew Hastie? You want to take them on?
Well, what I think we're seeing in terms of the support for One Nation is that Australians are angry. And I'm angry too, because what this government has done to our country is it's sent the economy reeling and it's made us less safe. I mean, the Liberal Party is about ensuring Australia has strong borders and that Australians can make money. And, you know, when I look at what we've done, we've outlined a very clear tax policy, getting rid of bracket creep. You know, this is a $200 billion hit, bracket creep. It's a secret tax that Jim Chalmers wants to continue to impose on Australians. We want Australians to have more of what they earn. Who knows what One Nation's tax policy is? Who knows how One Nation will make Australians better off? And on Islamic terror, One Nation talks a big game, but it was our party that called for the banning of the IRGC. It was our party that called for the cessation of diplomatic relations with Iran. It was Liberal MPs that were at Bondi day after day, and I'm happy to take One Nation on any day on Islamic terror, on keeping us safe, and on the economy, and that's what we're intending to do.
Julian Leeser, thanks for your time this Sunday. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.